Bruno Fernandes said in the week that he might consider leaving the club after the Euros. From your perspective, I imagine he's absolutely a player you'd want to keep.
Absolutely. But also I think that was also taken a little bit out of, not a little bit, but out of context.
I know he spoke in Portuguese. Did he explain the context or additional context to you then?
No, I haven't even asked him because I know he's Manchester United. I think he's very happy to be here.
So you expect he'll see out his contract at the club?
Definitely.
Thank you.
Dave.
You said a couple of weeks ago, Erik, about one of the lessons from this season is greater depth in the squad. I know next season you won't expect to have as many injuries. It's a freak season. But is that one of the things that you'll be telling the new people in charge? We need to have greater depth in this squad going forward.
Yes, yeah. It is one of the issues in our constructing the squad where we have to improve and to do things better, to construct a squad where we have more depth in.
Does that mean there might be more players arriving than a normal summer window, for example? Sometimes you only have 4 or 5, but could you see more arriving to cover that depth that you need?
I'm not sure, but I think most important is if we to return players and to get them back. Then we have I think in many positions then also we creating depth. And now we have in some positions we don't have choices. For instance, the left fullback position, where Shaw only 15 starts this season so far, and Malaysia 0 starts, not even available.
Neil.
Can I just clarify, you said about the 4 transfer windows, you said 2 we missed. What do you mean by that?
In the 2 winter windows, we didn't do almost no business in the first winter window. We loaned Wout Weghorst and Marcel Sabitzer, which were 2 good ones. But in this winter, we didn't do anything.
So it was things you were trying to do but just didn't happen?
We did, we tried, but didn't always happen. Also had to do with the budget, had to do with FFP.
And just on Bruno, him being here as the captain, and he has had criticism, but he also, a lot of people see him as a sort of example in the way he's always available and he's always gives his utmost. How important is it to have a figure like that at a club this size?
Absolutely important. That so responsibility, taking responsibility, I think that's one of the biggest assets nowadays. Top footballers has to show and to deliver, and so Bruno delivers this. He's always available. So misses never a game and always play in a good level and always giving energy to the team. And I think such assets are necessary to be successful.
Jamie.
On Bruno, you say that he's injured at the moment, but he'll fight to try and be available. Without naming any names, do you have some players in your squad who maybe don't fight as much to sort of overcome minor injuries? I'm not talking about serious ones, but ones where maybe it's 50-50. Do you have players like that?
I think it's also a very subjective criterion in this. But for one is sure, Bruno is a real fighter. When he was, for instance, last year, when we played Brighton semi-final FA Cup, you played with an angle that was unbelievable. He was so thick, he couldn't even run, but he was still on the pitch.
But it seems to me, in my humble opinion, you wouldn't make that point about Bruno unless you're comparing him to maybe other players in your squad who don't fight quite as much. Is that a fair enough assessment?
No, what's fair enough that Bruno is a very good example for many other players.
Okay. And my other question is, you have suffered a heck of a lot of injuries. Do you know the reason why? So why I'm asking is, of course you're going to get some next season, but are you confident you're not going to have sort of 60 plus that you've had this year? Because it's been such a massive problem for you.
I'm now, so for say over 10 years I'm manager. I've never had this experience. It's so huge, so many injury issues, so I trust on my experience. It can happen once in 10 years. hopefully so. Hopefully, I now have to wait for another 10 years to have so many injuries to deal with.
Chris.
Erik, you've got Palace on Monday. We go back 2 years. I think the first time we saw you in England, you got the job. You turned up with, I believe, Matt Judge and John Murtagh that day. Matt Judge is long gone. John Murtagh's now left. A lot of the people that brought you to the club are no longer here. Do you ever feel exposed in terms of your position, where you are in the new structure, given that so many people that brought you here are no longer here?
No, I don't have that feeling. So I work well with them. We are aligned. We communicate every day. And they will come. And there are already new people in. And I said in the new structure, we communicate on daily basis.
It's a much said thing in football that it's always a danger for any coach if you get a new ownership, a new chairman, whatever. From the start of all this, you've always felt that you've had support and you are included and you're part of their long-term vision.
I don't think in dangers.
You don't?
I don't think in dangers.
Right.
I think in opportunities, and I think never in problems. I think in how do we sort problems or how do we avoid them.
Well, Erik, you talked a moment ago about bringing players in this summer as is normal, like you said. Which areas of the team are you looking to strengthen specifically, and what kind of attributes do you want from those players who are coming in terms of their sort of mental approach to the game?
Yeah, I think every manager wants is players with winning attitudes and with great mentality and big personalities to perform under stress. That is, I think, what every manager is looking for. But what the truth is, in this club, is extremely important to perform under stress.
And in terms of positions, you mentioned left back is a striker one as well.
This left back depends on the availability from Luke Shaw. So he will be fit. He's returning already on the pitch. So we expect him to be back in the coming weeks. But Malaysia, it's expecting. So it's depend on his availability.
Last question, Mike.
Erik, is it with Jadon Sancho? Is it as simple as an apology and he's back in your plans? And would you speak to him while he's away from the club? Would you speak to him?
We are close in that process. So we visiting games, and so not only yesterday, and we visit. I will not say all the games, but we have seen more games from Dortmund where Jadon was performing there. So we had a visit with him. We had a talk with him during his stay there, and so that we will keep going with this process. We will also continually be in contact and communicate with him.
Is it an apology that you'd like?
That is, there was a conflict, and we let's first finish the season. He's not here now. So stay away from this issue now because it's not important. He is going up for the return semi-final. I think for them also in the league is not going that well over there. And we have 4 important games in the league, and we have to play a FA Cup final. So that is the issue, and that is the focus point at this moment. And then we will see in summer what's going to happen.